I think I think I was in a very, an unusual position. It gave me sort of a depth of emotion that I probably wouldn't have, if I hadn't gone through withdrawal. And I think it definitely helped with my writing, especially at the beginning, because I'm still relatively new to writing. It's definitely helped me get emotional and just do whatever I want. I have no inhibitions with writing now. I just do what I want. And I find writing, because of TSW, I put my heart and soul into it, but I'm very grateful for TSW, because I certainly would never have had the opportunity to write as much as I did, and I'm so grateful for it.
Hey guys, welcome. I am Briana. I am the creator of Preventable, and you are here with us watching Where Are They Now? And I am so excited. This person, I feel like they don't need an introduction. She's pretty well known, but here we have our veteran and model-esque CARA WARD with us.
Darling. Oh my goodness.
How are you doing?
I'm very, very good. Yes, no. Yeah, the UK at the moment is a bit crazy, with lockdown and everything, but for me, I'm a homebody anyway. So, time at home isn't the worst thing in the world. And I've been furloughed since March. So,
Yeah.
I'm sort of using the time to write and just, yeah, no, try and use it as productively as possible.
Yeah, because I'm in Florida, and like I had been saying a little earlier that I feel like Florida's like this like stepchild during this time of we're kind of doing everything else that no one else is doing. Like lots of stuff is open. We're hosting Super Bowl today in the US, and it's just crazy. Like I feel so bad for other people. Like you guys, I know you have like tiers and stuff of where people are maybe more open or not, but
Yeah. Oh my God. In London, it's pretty locked down. It's kind of, yeah, literally everything is closed but food shops. So, yeah.
and I feel so
Um,
bad that you've been furloughed for so long.
it's kind of, for me, it's been I feel bad saying this, but I have been grateful for the time. So it's not been, I feel very sad about the situation, but I feel very grateful to just have this time, to be able to dedicate to TSW stuff and writing and sort of be
Yes.
able to throw myself into it. And even silly stuff like do your banking. Because when you go to work and you've got no
Yes.
time to do like even wash your hair, you know, but to have time to just do things that just get
Get your
pushed out.
ducks in a row.
Absolutely. Yeah. All lined
Perfect.
up. It's wonderful. Absolutely glorious. So that bit's been great. It's just a terrible situation for the world, but, I'm trying to take what I can from this. And, I've been
Take the
so
good.
time. Yeah, no, totally. And I don't know if it's the same for you, but like a lot of people that I know have had this time and they've really done some thinking about their life, about their choices, everything. I think
Like
it's
reflection for a
absolutely
year.
exactly. It's like the TSW people, we're all set for this. We're like, we know how to do isolation. We're like,
Yes.
it's all good. But no, I've always found, especially when I was going through TSW, the thinking time is extraordinary because life goes at like 1,000 miles an hour. You have to stop and you just forced, to
Literally like brick wall, like bam, sit
yeah,
down.
literally. It's kind of nuts. So, when they were like, oh, stay at home, I was like, yeah, 2 years, I can do this. I can do this
That's
forever.
actually funny that you say that because I know a lot of people when this first happened, it was like cabin fever of like, I can't believe they're like, how can I stay like this? How can I do that? And I'm thinking, you have no idea. No
Yeah,
idea what like isolation is. I was like, just sit along for the ride, enjoy that you're like healthy, able to do stuff. Because I guess, like you said, and this might be a blessing for people in the TSW community because we're already stuck usually at home in the
yeah.
worst of it. So,
Exactly. I kind of, in a way, like my first thoughts with COVID and lockdown was, what a good time to go through TSW. And I always thought about that. I thought, if there was a time to go through TSW and be forced to stay at home, it's now.
Yep.
It's literally designed for it, you know. So yeah, no, I think there's a lot of, obviously, setting aside the actual, you know, virus, you know, put that to one side, there's a lot of positives, I think, personally, for quite a lot of people during this time, just because
Yeah.
it does force you to completely flip everything and just reassess and sort of think about the, you know, is this the life path I want? You know, you start thinking about everything, and it's, yeah, no, I think it's always transformative. Like I find like this sort of with COVID, like a second, I don't know, it's like therapy almost, just this time. It's glorious. You really do think, and yeah, no, it's all good.
But what's crazy is, I mean, I've gotten to see you once since shooting the documentary, because I did my like little preview or video over in the UK 2
Yeah.
summers ago. So I
Yeah.
have gotten to see you since documentary. And I will say, when was it that you started TSW and then kind of thought you were completely out of it?
Yeah, so I started TSW in June 2013, and I made a sort of, I hate saying sudden recovery, but for me it really was. I woke up one day in August 2015, so that's about 26, 27 months later, sort of out the other side, and it's still, it's still a pinch me moment. It seems daft after all these years, but it's still kind of extraordinary. The whole TSW experience is still kind of, it's hard to process, you know.
No, and I've been going through some old video, and I found some that you had said, and I might try and post it somewhere else, but you had talked about how it was around Valentine's Day, so like we're coming up to it, and you're like, I was looking at other women like getting to wear these beautiful things, and you're like, I just felt like all my feminine qualities were out the window. Like I couldn't wear the pretty dresses, I couldn't do my hair. And to see you now, and you continue, like you're in the community a lot, and you post, like you'll post about your wrists, your hands over the years, because I still think it's remarkable. I don't think whenever I'm fully healed, that's never gonna marvel. Like I'm never gonna stop thinking like that's amazing. Like 20 years from now, I'll be like, look, guys, my
Yeah,
wrist, like this is crazy.
this is literally it, because it doesn't get old. And you know what, sometimes really pointless dramas can get, you know, in your head, and that's all you think about. But there's sometimes that I'll have moments where I'll just look at, I'll be doing something really random and I'll just catch sight of my skin, and it still catches, it just takes me by surprise sometimes. And I just think, I just thank you. Just thank you. Thank you for skin. Thank you for comfort. You know, thank you for all these things. It's just it will never ever get old. And I think that's probably why I've been here, because it sounds really daft saying this. And I have described it to someone recently as like, I found God or something when I got better. So that joy, and that joy of knowing that, guys, I went through this terrible thing, but I got better. This is the most amazing thing ever. And because I know through TSW, you go through the depths of despair, it's painful, both mentally and physically. But to come out the other end, I was like, I've got to spread my gospel of like, please, guys, it gets better, because it does. And I think that's the saddest thing as well. Like, I see a lot of people wanting to give up just as they're going to get better, because
Yeah.
I think there's like a final push sometimes. And I think it's so intense, TSW. And this, I even hate saying don't give up, because I know what that actually means. To not give up is to push through one of the most terrible processes that anyone should ever have to go through, both mentally and physically. But it was just so, for me, life-changing, and the gifts it has given me, it's just precious. You know, I will never ever take my skin for granted again. And it just doesn't get old, because I remember, especially in the second year, because my hands was something, my journey with my hands is definitely the hardest journey, because
Yeah.
I mean, I use steroid cream there every year, every day, twice a day, for well over 10 years. So my hands took the brunt of like especially as time wore on.
Yeah.
And in the second year, I remember looking at my hands, and I likened it to that bit. Spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen Home Alone, but you know when Joe Pesci gets his head burnt or his hands burnt, and he looks
Uh-huh.
at his hands and he can't believe they're his hands, that they're burnt like that. And I used to look at my hands that were like swollen, cracked, oozing, and I was like, they're not my hand. I can't believe this is my hands. I'm having like an out of body experience. So it's especially my hands when I catch them now and they're just completely clear. It's just like, it's just amazing. And the other thing is as well, when I was going through TSW, there was literally no one saying you got better apart from Nina, Josh, all these people.
Yeah.
Now, when I see them, I'm always like, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, because I know what you did through my journey. So if I can do anything to make people feel comforted, if I can, it's because I feel so happy now. I just want to make sure, I just want others to sort of experience it, because I know how difficult that can be to remember,
Yeah,
Um,
and you've been, you said, since 2015. So that's almost 6 years of
it,
being an advocate.
it's kind of crazy. To be honest, it sounds really stupid saying this, but I've never processed it as, it's just been something I've done, almost like doing the dishes, or like, it's just been part of my life, and I've never really thought about it. But weirdly, last year, especially sort of towards the end of last year, when, we started really ramping up the
Y-
fighting,
Yeah.
some naughty people,
Yeah.
you know I think I realized just how much TSW means to me, and sort of people not suffering, and people telling people that it does get better, because it was such a life-changing thing for me. And I think that really is truly just why I'm here, because it does mean a lot to me.
I think people are very grateful for you and any veteran that stays in the game, because it is traumatic. There are things that, at the end of the day, I remember even shooting the documentary and I found this little piece. I don't think I put it in the documentary, but I might share it as well, where I was kind of reminiscing on how it shouldn't be any veteran's responsibility to stick around and be the advocates and things like that. That should be the medical professionals, thing. That's the person, you're not getting paid to do any of this. So it's really reflective on veterans that stick around. It showcases that it does take strength, I think, and it's time and it's a lot of effort, because you're healed. You don't have to stick around. You can be like, bye, I'm gonna go live my life. Sorry guys, deal with it yourself. But you've stuck around and you've been a huge voice for a lot of this community. So thank you for that. I mean, even me, I'm 6 years. I still have flares. I still have my little bit to get through. And so it is nice to still have someone who has been healed for so long still showing up, especially for people who are just starting to go through this, and keeping up the hope and the gratitude and the look, like, don't give up. So it's very comforting and
Oh,
very kind.
I genuinely, it's not something I think about in that way. I just think about, it's just part of my life. It sounds so daft saying it, but it really is. And I think it probably stems from what I needed through TSW. What I needed, I can try and hopefully give back, afterwards. Because I genuinely, not a day that goes by do I not feel grateful for this process. It just gave me so much. It obviously, I mean, it took away any chance of a career during 2 years. It took so much. I mean, mentally, especially, this process just rips you apart. It just pulls you down.
Every
And
which way.
yeah, like, I will never sugarcoat what TSW is. So it's very hard to be like, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. But it's like, and then you look back at pictures and like your skin's like oozing and stuff. But you know what? Genuinely, the pluses and the positives by far outweigh the negatives. And just as more and more time passes, they rack up. It really it's, what, when you go through TSW, you are offered a unique perspective on life in
Yeah.
terms of you truly understand the value and what is important. And it is nothing material. It is, am I comfortable? That's all I wanted. I wanted comfort. I wanted to wear, it's daft, I wanted to walk down a road and wear a top and just feel, just be, just like not think. And I remember, weirdly, I was thinking about, I was in bed with my mum, like when I was going through TSW. She was like, let's lie down together and we'll just listen to an audiobook. She used to lie down next to me. And I remember scratching my way through listening to this audiobook. I think it was Elizabeth is Missing. Whenever I hear that title now, I think about those memories of like sitting in bed, like scratching. And I thought, I can just lie, not feel, I don't, irritation, no nothing. And that is just such, you just can't take it for granted. So when I didn't feel irritation, it was just the best thing ever. And also, this is coming from someone who also suffered from chronic eczema for many years before my skin even became reliant on steroids and all medication. So I basically had a lifetime of analysing my skin, having to like take a blooming like pharmacy with me to a sleepover. You know, all these things. We can't just like live. We've got this like person on our shoulder just being like, what's your skin doing? You know, you like pick up a sugary thing and it's like, oh, do you want to eat that for your skin? You know, you've always got, you know, eczema.
There's something always in the back of your head, like you got to deal with.
Exactly. It's like some kind of prison sentence. It's just like, so when that, I feel like I'm getting really like amped up with it, but it's just something that over time, my passion for making sure people, one, no longer suffer and don't have to suffer, like preventable, because it's completely preventable, you know, and also that it does get better. It's just, you know, it's something that I'm very passionate about. And like I said, it's just increasing over time, just because I think we're on the verge of a very big spike. I think recently a lot has been happening and it's gaining momentum.
Yeah.
And I feel very passionate about this cause, and I just want to make sure that one day in the future this won't even be a thing, you know. So let's hope one day, no one else has to suffer.
I'm crossing my fingers, I'm gonna cross my eyes, I'm gonna cross my toes.
Everything. That's just like the best thing ever. So I'll stand off my soapbox now. But
well, I was gonna say, besides all the advocating that you still do, I know you write a lot, and not just for the TSW community. So what other projects have you been working on, have come out since the documentary? Tell all.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So the same year that we filmed your documentary, that was the year I'd been thinking about it for a few years previously, and I'd realised the time had come to finally put my thoughts down from my whole TSW journey in one book. And I did it very much as a sort of cathartic exercise for me because I've always used writing as a way of processing my thoughts and just letting it all out, just getting it out so I can move on. So I wrote a book about my TSW experience called Curing My Incurable Eczema, and that really was just for me. And it was literally, and I put it up there, I was like, oh, my mum will buy it, but I didn't even think about people actually buying it. So it was quite nuts when people did get it. Because it was always just for me to put it out there. So I released that book in December 2017. I think. Goodness, it's getting old.
I know.
Goodness, my little baby's growing so fast. Oh,
time. So fast.
So crazy. So I released that book, and then because of everything I had learned with TSW, because I'd spent my life up to TSW giving up on every single thing, everything I ever wanted. But TSW taught me not to give up. And I've suffered from a hair pulling disorder, which is called trichotillomania, and a skin picking disorder called dermatillomania. They're a bit of a tongue twister, oh my goodness. I'd suffered from them since I was 12 years old, and they've ranged from very, very, very severe to milder over my life, but it's never not been part of my life. But when I recovered from TSW, I was pulling out hairs still, and I was picking at my skin. And I started to think, I think it was in 2016 where I thought, right, the time has come. you are going to stop doing this. So I started writing down a diary of me finding a way to stop picking at my skin and pulling out hair. And initially I wrote a diary just for myself because, like I said, with my TSW journey, it's my way of processing everything. It just, I have to write, get it out there. And the following, I think it was in 2018, I decided to self-publish my journey. And from that, a small publisher said, we would like to publish this book. So they changed the title, and I worked with an editor, which was really exciting. And it was called Every Trick in the Book. Apart from that, I also have a women's fiction series called Waiting to Live, which I wrote back in TSW, which I also self-published. But recently, I've also worked on, I have two blogs. I have an author blog and I have a TSW blog, which I've been contributing to for many years now. But I'm in the process of, even though I have been traditionally published, I'm in the process of working on some short stories to put together a short story collection. I've got 15 short stories, so I'm currently in the process of getting like I'm trying to get a literary agent so I can hopefully get them traditionally published. Get them out there. But it's funny how I feel like life is so simple. We go through the same thoughts and feelings about every single undertaking. I feel like I'm just going through a withdrawal again because I've started to doubt. I'm thinking, why bother? Give up. You know, I have these, like, I look on these agent websites and I'm like, what? And I'm looking at like their client list and I'm like, I'm not like these people. I can't possibly, you know, get a book deal or anything like that. So it's interesting that with any journey, it's always both a mental one and a physical. It's just crazy. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. So it's just kind of mad. Like over the years, my little collection of books has sort of built up.
Oh, and that's amazing. And I know I'm in a little group with actually Ashley and Laura, and I remember we were talking about like creativity in and of itself is like vulnerability. So you're always quick to doubt that someone's gonna want this or like this. And I'm like, girl, you have so many followers and so many people who love you. I mean, we're gonna line up for anything that is published by you. So do not worry about that front because you're an amazing writer. We want to read your stuff. I was actually just watching Eat, Pray, Love. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie.
That's so weird. I'm reading the book currently.
See? So I'm like, she's just gonna pick up one day and go like around the world, and I'm gonna get to experience it because she's gonna write a book about it, and I'm just gonna, that's how I'll experience some of that. So I know whatever you do, like it's gonna get picked up, it's gonna be put out there, and it's gonna be awesome. So don't fret about that.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, that's the best thing. TSW taught me don't give up. So no matter how crazy I may be, I won't give up with it. I'll just keep at it. Oh my goodness, but thank you.
Yeah. And then before we sign off, I wanted to know, I mean, you have so much out there for us in the community, but is there anything, any advice that you would give to someone in TSW?
It's the most boring advice and it's the most infuriating advice in the world, but it really does come down to time. And I think at the core of it, you know, you can throw so many different things at your skin. I think all your skin really needs is time. And I think because I think that's the other thing. We are a society of quick fixes. And we are a society of like, we can reach for a drug. It's even like Deliveroo. We have everything at our fingertips. If we're hungry, we can get food delivered. You know, Amazon, we can get anything so easily.
Yep.
So it's very hard in this quick fix society to be like, I've got to wait and I've got to be patient. I can't throw anything at my skin. It's literally down to time. And that's what's very difficult. And I hate saying it because I hate myself for saying, please give it time. But I've realized more and more that is all it comes down to. It's like anything in life, time cures pretty much everything, you know, and, you know, I think I think the other thing that is very important is just be prepared for how this will affect you mentally, because I don't think any of us are prepared for what it will do to our anxiety levels. Oh my goodness, you know, I experienced 2 very difficult years after TSW, recovering mentally from what I'd been through. So I
Yeah.
think it's just being prepared for the undertaking that is TSW. I will never sugarcoat what it is, but it really was the best thing I'd ever done. So really my advice from this place is just give it time. Or, you know, I think less is more as well. And that's a difficult thing. You feel like you want to be doing everything. You know, I mean, I think every single person can attest to the fact that you spend over £100 or whatever currency in some health food store buying like olive oil soap. I remember my mom went
Yes.
to Barrett, came back with all these natural like stuff. They all went in the bin. Or, you know, like, it's just, I think this process is about, it's literally like you saying, here, skin, I'm like, here, do whatever you want with me. You know, I'm just going to sit here and watch some Netflix or do whatever. And just, that's it. So I think, and the other thing that I would recommend is don't overanalyze every little thing your skin is doing. Obviously, you have to be very cautious of like infection, and there's
Yeah.
certain medical things that's very important. You know, do not ignore certain things, but don't overanalyze how long this process will take. Baby steps, take it day by day. Don't think I'll be healed in like
Yes.
1 year.
Expectation.
Yeah, you know what? Just take it day by day. And I do think that would mentally take away a lot of the stress we put on ourselves, because I think the disappointment when we get to like X time and we're not there. So I think it is just letting go, and it's just embracing the unknown. This is a very difficult thing, but it does get better. You know, I think that's it. Really, I will never recommend like a product or something, because we are all so different, but what we can all be bound by is time. So that's sort of the resounding message, really, is to give it time and it gets better, you know.
Yes. Thank you, Cara, so much.
No, it's a pleasure.
We love you, and I'm so glad, like, hopefully one day again, if I'm ever in England, we'll all have like a little meetup, because
Absolutely.
I miss England and I miss you guys. Like, you made my baby what it is. Like, your story, everyone else's story. So I appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart
Yeah, we're very
for helping me create that. So
All
love
good.
you. Big
Love
hugs.
Yeah,
All right.
It's all good.
Bye, girl.
Bye. Oh my goodness.